This is an odd way to begin a video, but I'm running out of things to say. Seems like almost everything I could say, I've said before at some point this season in one of these videos. And now, what's left? The old demons seem to have come back this week. Run defense was poor after a week of actually looking good down in Regina. A bunch of penalties, nearly 200 yards in penalties. Yeah, gee, that does seem like a coaching issue. Where have we seen that before? Oh, right. Ugh. Well, I want to try and have one positive thing to say. That's Brett Boyko at right tackle. I think he did a pretty good job in the run game, and hopefully going forward, there might be some semblance of a balance on this offense. Certainly think that Ivy and Boyko are our best options at bookend tackles after that was such a problem the first 4 weeks of the season. Foucault did a decent job back at left guard tonight. I know he's been moving positions all around, still had a couple times where he got beat. It's going to happen. Corte did a pretty good job holding up at center. I mean, none of these linemen are perfect, but at least they're not getting beat all the time anymore. At least they've stepped up a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate because our quarterback situation has seemingly gotten worse. I have been a defender of Taylor Cornelius most of this season, but that grace is gone for me. His interception with his left hand into nowhere, that's inexcusable. You can't put this on the coaches or anybody else. You simply have to know, even in middle school and high school, not to do that. Just take the sack. Live to play another day. Dude, it's not throwing with his left hand. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Oh boy. Sometimes I wonder if Patrick Mahomes would even look bad in this offense just because there seems to be no plan at all. No consistency whatsoever. Just like this team is just the coaching staff running it, flying by the seat of their pants. Where's this team going? I don't know. It's one thing if you're losing in a rebuilding project, but you still look like you're at least going somewhere. And this team doesn't really seem to have an upward trajectory. It sort of reminds me of that episode of The Good Place where they talk about the flow of time, and it's like a Jeremy Bearimy, if you know what I'm talking about. Just sort of going this way, that way, up, down, all around. That's what this team is. Like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, actually, there's one thing you can almost be assured you're going to get. Lots of penalties, missed tackles on defense, and seemingly a point in the second half where the defense just seemingly caves and just says, it's over. We tried our best to hold them out, but it's not happening tonight. Even though this ended up an 8-point game, it was not at all that close. Edmonton clearly lost the upper hand in the middle of the third quarter. Hamilton just jumped on us and just took it from there. That big play to Tim White certainly was a huge factor. It's probably where the game ultimately started to turn. And then, of course, James Butler just ran all over our defense tonight. I'm glad that Brown had some good rushes tonight. Stephen Dunbar got in on the action. Mitchell and French look respectable, but they're not Geno Lewis. We're clearly going to miss him for a very long time. But I guess now to the quarterback situation. This is the $1 million question right now. And I say you can't go back to TC at this point. You've already benched him twice. I think if you go back to him, it's going to divide the locker room really quickly. I already think there are guys who are probably getting into camps of opinion based on, I think this guy should be going or this guy should be going. And his play just seems to be getting worse. And you really can't put all the blame on the line tonight. Got to put it on his decision making. So I'm really thinking that Daggy will start next week. However, I'm going to continue beating the drum for Trey Ford. I still think used a first round pick on the guy. You got to give him a chance. At least see what he's got. I mean, with what I've seen out of Daggy so far, this is not any disrespect to him. He's had some good drives against the Argos and tonight against the Ticats that were garbage time, really. You look at his one start in Ottawa, it was not good. I mean, there are issues here beyond quarterback. I've been saying that all along. I'm just not sure that Daggy is the solution either. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. We'll see. But for the moment, I really want to see what Trey Ford can do in a game. We saw some of those RPOs that were run successfully in the first half. I feel like Ford would do a good job of that. But ultimately, with TC, unfortunately, I don't think anyone would trade for him at this point. His value would be next to nil. I still think that he would be fixable in the right situation, but I think that ship has left the harbor here. So I'd hope the best for him, whatever ends up happening. And I certainly hope that get some answers soon. The thing about it is, in no game this year have I ever thought that Cornelius was just 100% bad. Like tonight, even there was some good, there was some bad, and there was some downright ugly that like I mentioned. But yeah, the bad was what you saw in the red zone whenever he threw that pass behind Dunbar, gets tipped up and intercepted. Yeah, that's on Cornelius, 100%. But also that touchdown to Moore, he really gunned it in there and threaded the needle. Yes, most of it was on Moore with the run after the catch, but got to give him some credit for making that throw. I mean, we get these glimpses of what he could be, but the consistency is just not there. And I'm just not sure it will be as a member of this team. It's unfortunate, but he just doesn't seem to be the right guy. So next step is we got to see if Daggy or Ford can be that guy, and I'd be a lot more interested in finding out if Ford is that guy. But going to be a lot of questions in Edmonton this coming week, and we'll see how they get answered. Tough showdown with the Bombers coming. Even though their defense isn't what it has been in years past, it's still going to be tough going down there to Winnipeg. Looking at our next 3 games, 2 games against Winnipeg, sandwiched around a game at home with the BC Lions, which could be the 21st consecutive home loss. I don't want to get too far into that rabbit hole. We'll just leave it at that. But then after that, starting in week 11, we have the stretch of 5 games at Hamilton, home to Ottawa, home and home with Calgary, and then at Saskatchewan, hopefully, sometime between weeks 11 and 15, we'll get a victory. If not, well, the schedule from week 16 onward gets tougher. See the likes of Toronto and Montreal, Winnipeg again. And yeah, things are really teetering on the brink of ugly with this team. And with that, I will sign off.